What's up? It's your boy. It's your boy. It's your boy. How's my light? How's my light? Do I look good? It's my first setup. It's my first time. You know what I'm saying? Big shout outs. Big shout outs. You know, I got to start shout outs because you got to start your day off just like you got to start your stream off, just like you got to start your relationships off with gratitude. So, first, I want to definitely give a shout out to the divine creator, you know, for the whole life thing. I want to give a shout out to my moms and my pops. I want to give a shout out to Not Your Average Fro. Good looking on this. The rig right here that is got me so well lit. I want to give a big shout out to Spotify, where you can find your boy Sly Tha Deuce. That's what we're listening to right now. Do not worry, YouTube. I actually do own the rights to all of this music. Every single line, every sweet bar is mine. So let's kick this off. Today's episode is the backstory. Today's episode is actually the first episode, so it's a pretty fitting title, is what I thought. The backstory. So what we're working on right now is an album, but it's much more than an album. And you watching it right now is proof that it's more than an album, because you're not listening to an album right now, are you? But you can hear me talking. That's what I'm talking about. I really want this to be an interactive experience. I really want to do something that I don't think I've ever done before. Or should I say, I know I've never done before. I don't know if it's ever been done before. But I really want to, from the ground up, interactive album experience. Let me make sure this isn't too loud, because I know it's a sweet groove, but I don't want it interrupting me. I want to be talking over myself. It's just kind of a weird feeling, you know? What was I saying? Yeah, so I'm working on this project, and I shared this with some of you on Instagram already, where you can find me, Motivated Mister. Check me out on Instagram. Make sure that you like, subscribe, do all of that on YouTube, and then pop on over there to Instagram and make sure you give me a follow. Turn on your notifications, and I'll be giving you a shout out too. Anyway, I was sharing with that community that I really want to do this. It's really been on my heart. And I just wanted to share with you all the backstory of this project and kind of where it's coming from and where my mind is, so that you're aware. And if you are interested in you know, giving your energy to something like that, then you're more than welcome to. You're more than welcome to. I feel a sneeze coming on, but it's not coming. So hold on. There it was. Okay, so the history of this album that I'm working on is, I got to go back to the first music that I ever really put out. I first put out music in New York. I was living in New York, and my brother, big shout outs to my big brother, he was actually running a property management firm out there. And so I thought that I would go out there, you know what I'm saying, make a bunch of money and live the big dog life like my big bro was doing. And while I was out there, the receptionist in his office used to be a model, wonderful lady, and her sister was still a model. And the receptionist told me her sister was currently dating Slim Thug. That was a big deal. You know, I'm like 18, you know, just at school not too long ago. You know, I got bars. I fancy myself a rapper, right? And so the opportunity to even be in the same circle, or even knowing people who know Slim Thug, was a big deal. And I wanted to have a project or something to actually be able to put in his hands. Like, I wanted to be able to actually walk up to Slim Thug if I had the opportunity, or give it to her, right? Give her the material and then pass it on. So that was my goal. So in like 2 weeks time, you know, I'm not going to go through a whole long story. In like 2 weeks time, I ended up coming up with this demo, gave it to her to give to Slim Thug. Well, I found some studio time out there in New York. So I was like working at my brother's office, you know, all day. And then at night, I would just go and record like all my money. Cause I mean, I was living with my brother. So like, I didn't have like rent or anything like that. So, I mean, it was like balls to the wall studio time. And you know, I put out some really good stuff. It was a lot of fun. It was the first project I had ever done. I mean, like looking back, it was trash from a production standpoint. You know what I'm saying? From a production standpoint, but the energy was there. You know, I definitely knew this is something that I really, really enjoyed and wanted to keep doing. So long story short, obviously, I didn't get signed by Slim Thug. Big surprise. But I at that point recognized that, like, yo, I can do this. You know, I can in not a long span of time, put out a really solid body of work. And so I came back to Colorado, which is where I'm from originally. Shout out to the 303-720. How y'all living out there? How y'all living out there? Anyway, so I came back and I let some of my cousins, and just some of my friends kind of hear the material that I put out, because I was thinking this was all supposed to be like for Slim Thug. So the whole I could do this didn't really hit me yet, but it was like, yo, y'all, I just wanted y'all to see what I had originally put together for what I had envisioned would be my demo for Slim Thug. And they were like, yo, this is like really good. This is really, really good. And I was like, you think so? I feel like this is all the same album. Like, now y'all know I got more albums than one on Spotify. Don't try to play your boy. One thing I can't stand about random, when you pick a playlist, right? And it's got all kinds of various artists in it, and you pick shuffle play, and it plays like the same artists. I can't stand it. It's just a little pet peeve of mine. It's just a little pet peeve of mine. So I really just want you to shuffle play all the tracks. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like this is all just one album in a row. And I don't want to hear that. But anyway, what y'all don't want to hear is me going through these musical woes over here, right? That's not what y'all signed up for. So anyway, I talked to Slim Thug. I'm back into my story. So my cousins and my friends say, yo, this is really, really good, right? You should do something with this. You should keep making music, right? So I meet these guys, Ryan and Steele. They were, some beat makers supreme. They owned their own studio. They were actually just getting ready to build it, and they reached out to me, man. It was an amazing blessing. And they really gave me an opportunity to show what I could do, right? And so I worked with them. I mean, like nonstop. I mean, we really forged like a legit, solid friendship. I mean, like I love those guys, and we spent hours and hours and hours together, making music and just getting in the zone and vibing together. We would have deep discussions about relationships and life, parents, jobs, school, different things like that. And it really all came out in the music. So that relationship was really my first. It's not my first because, like I said, I had already put out the music in New York, but it was such a great experience to like work that closely with them. And we put out a lot of music together, and a lot of the stuff that you can find right now on Apple Music or Spotify or anything like that is got them as a part of it. And so they're definitely ingrained in what I got going on. But the way that it was set up was they just had like so much music that they were really in a situation where they were like, we just have all this music, but we don't really have any like artists to like get on it, And I was like, I've just got all these lyrics, but not anything that I don't just have like a beat laboratory, right? And I don't have just like a beat vault. And so it's just like this perfect, meshing of energy. And we were really able to like be what each other were looking for from that creative sense and help each other to level up, man. So again, if y'all are watching, man, I love y'all, man. I really appreciate y'all and the things that we're still doing, right? We're still cooking stuff. This new album has got your boy Still Sky on it. You know what I'm saying? Like SP is definitely a part of what I'm doing. It's a part of how I came to be, how Sly Deuce came to be. And Sly Deuce is my musical name, my artist name. Some of you may know me as Motivated Mister. Again, if you were on my Instagram, that's my handle there, Motivated Mister. I think that's my handle on here too. I should probably know that, but I got a lot of handles, which I probably shouldn't, right? I should probably make it easier for y'all, the people who love me, to find me. So I'll get on that. I'm pretty sure that it's Motivated Mister on here, but if it's not, I'll see what I can do. So anyway, the synergy is what I wanted to draw reference to, because this album right here is that I'm currently working on is like going back to my roots. And I heard recently a saying that really stuck with me. It was, water your roots and your branches will grow. And I thought, that's deep. That, I mean, obviously. But so I really wanted to go back to the roots, right? To get back to like what was it about, and just that, like I said, those songs that were coming out of real interaction, right? Like minds. There were creative minds engaging in conversation, engaging in discussion, and then that creativity would express itself. I mean, we'd have long conversations, and then like a snippet here from the conversation or a snippet there might get brought in, or a conversation kicks off a topic in my mind that I go and write a song to, and then I'll sprinkle in like a quote that one of my friends actually said in the conversation. So, when they hear the song later, it's more than just a song. It's an actual like checkpoint, like in our lives. And that feeling was just awesome. That feeling is so amazing. And I never want to stop having that feeling when I make music, like checkpoints as far as life. Like this is a real life event harnessed in like 3 minutes to a catchy beat. And so all of that being the backstory, in a nutshell, there's definitely some more depth that I could go into, but the just truth, the authenticity of the music is something that I very much want to get back to, and something that I'm excited to get back to in this new project. So the backstory as far as this album is that there was a wonderful guy named Adnan who I had met at 360 Recording Studios out here in Houston, Texas, which is where I'm currently located. Shout out all my Texas players. What it do? I got a lot of homies in a lot of places. It's going to be a lot of shout outs. I'm just letting y'all know now. So 360 Studios, I met this guy named Adnan. He makes beats. He sings. He writes. Pretty sure he raps. He's amazing. I mean, again, I'm all about energy, like having conversations with this guy, just getting his perspective on life, hearing how he views and interacts with the world. It was just amazing. It was an amazing experience. And we had made some headway in developing some plans to work together on a musical project. And he was sick, and I didn't necessarily really know how sick he was. I knew that he was sick, but I thought it was like he's gonna be sick all his life kind of thing. And I guess he was, but the long and the short of it was that he passed away, and that was very, very tough, to be honest. And it really hit everybody at the studio hard. And I'm telling you guys about this guy, and I met him through the owner of the studio, right? So, and the owner of the studio, I grew up with the guy, knew him for a long time. And they had, known each other's families and things like that. So if I'm this impacted, right, imagine the people that actually knew and loved this guy. I mean, he was an amazing person, seriously. And what was most impactful to me was I wasn't even aware, but he wanted to share his portfolio with me, even in the event that something happened to him. And so he had given, authorization for us to continue working together, even in the postmortem sense, which was really amazing because, I mean, it's like, what do you even do with that? At first I was overwhelmed at even the notion of it when the studio reached out to me and was like, hey, we want to send you, just a catalog of beats, and you choose from them, and you write to them as you see fit. And I mean, I had experienced something similar when I first signed with a record label, and that whole experience of there's more beats here than I could ever write to in my life. Even when I was rocking with Subliminal Productions, man, they had a vault, but they didn't have no vault like this. It was just from producers from all over the world, different genres all together, just in this giant, just imagine all the producers that if they were submitting beats into one big repository that artists were being able to draw from. And I always wondered, how do these like link ups kind of happen, but you end up picking a beat and then they end up telling you like, oh, okay, that beat was produced by X, Y, and Z. And then you may end up reaching out to that guy and making a connection, or you might not. You guys might just only be together as far as the single is as far as the single is concerned. You know what I mean? Like as far as the art, it will say you featuring or produced by this guy. You guys may have never met, or you may be able to ask, you know, hey, can you help me bridge that gap? I really like working with this guy. I'd like to work with him directly. Depends on the label that you're rocking with, to be honest. But I'm digressing. Y'all gotta catch me from digressing, because I will do that from time to time. So currently, they sent me this just large repository of beats, and they were all produced by this amazing guy Adnan, and I right then and there knew I wanted to make an album that was gonna pay homage to him. I wanted to do a tribute album, and I have never really taken that on. And to be honest with you, the last time that I intertwined my music with like an external person, and really tried to put a lot of energy behind it, I'm embarrassed to say it crushed me. I mean, there was a little girl in Oklahoma City, and one of my coworkers was related to this little girl, and she had a medical condition that was fairly serious. And I had the idea of, hey, we should put together a benefit concert for her. I reached out to a venue. I was getting in contact with some other artists in the area, and I'm not even from here, so I'm just trying to make this thing happen, and I don't even really know these people. But I was just so moved by and I knew my coworker, amazing person as well. And it was really important to her. And I could see that. I mean, the little girl was really important to her, right? And it was just like, you could clearly see it. She was all about it. She would talk about it. She would light up when she would talk about the little girl. The little girl was featured in, the local newspaper. And so I thought, let's really make this something. Let's leverage our talents. And I say I was working with a group out there. Shout out my boy KT. I was working with him and some other creatives down there, and on some musical endeavors. Shout out Next Star Studios, everybody in OKC that was helping me at that time. But I was working with him, and just that energy of, like I was saying, the different creatives. So trying to see if we could put together something like a benefit show. I reached out to some venues, got those locked in and everything like that. And then as just a surprise, out of nowhere, I mean, the little girl passed away. And looking back, I'm not like I think I would have responded. I would like to say that I would respond different, but I was just so sad. Like I was just so sad that I just stopped planning, and I just stopped. I called the venue, and told them, hey, we don't need it anymore and everything like that. I didn't just leave people hanging, but there wasn't really anything set in stone to the point where money had exchanged hands, right? So there wasn't really anything there. So there was no bad business done, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But looking back, I felt sad because it's like we still could have done something to honor her. And I was just very, very sad about the whole scenario, and just the loss of life, the loss of young life. But she was just so innocent. And again, she just lit up the room. She lit up people who talked about her. They lit up talking about her. And so that was a really tough time for me. And some other stuff was going on for me in my own personal life. So I really kind of withdrew from that externalness of the music. Externality? I don't know. It's my show. I say what I want. And that was tough for me. And so again, this album, just the way that the universe works, this album and this circumstance is giving me an opportunity again to be in that position where it's not necessarily an economic burden, right? The music is there, it's already there, and the circumstances are not necessarily ideal, but there's so much beautiful music that just needs lyrics. So that's one thing that resonates with me. And the other thing is the ability to use your craft to honor someone who, even though they've passed away, I think that I'm more mature to realize now that like they're not really gone, right? You know, the transfer of energy and all of that kind of stuff. He's not gone. He's definitely on a different plane, but he's not gone, and so he's still very much here. And so it would be disrespectful. I feel it would be more rude to just let his music fall by the wayside, like to just not make anything out of it. That wouldn't be a good way to honor him. So in a nutshell, you know, we'll dive into it a little bit farther. I don't want to take up more than 20 minutes of your time at a time, but I appreciate y'all for hopping on, joining. We'll get deeper into it next time, and make sure that you like and subscribe. Holla. Thank you.